Good morning, everyone. Sean Ruggiero, Bridget Reimer. We're here for the FFL AMS Live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to continue with our in-home presentation series. We have done in-home presentations, finding money and selling an annuity, accumulation annuity. We also did the in-home, found an opportunity to sell an IUL for death benefit in long-term care. These next two, we're going to talk about using the IUL trifold and the financial inventory to find on a younger client the opportunity to supplement retirement with an IUL for accumulation and income.
Awesome.
We will then do an income annuity, and that rounds out kind of the four aspects of how we use IULs and annuities for solving people's problems.
Perfect.
All right, so Bridget is, and this is good because she is 30. So Bridget is 30. Female, we're sitting here. This is a mortgage protection client. Okay, so just a quick review. I have met her. I've handed her a copy of the lead, so this is what I'm here for. I have briefly explained what I'm going to be doing. So Bridget, my job as a field underwriter is to first ask you a few questions, figure out what you would qualify for, because it wouldn't make any sense for me to show you something that you would not qualify for. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing is we're going to make sure that it fits in your budget. Just like the first problem, if it doesn't fit in your budget, it probably also doesn't make sense. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, and then the third thing that I'm going to do is we're going to carefully go through a request for approval. I want to make sure that the home office underwriter, it's a little bit of a checks and balances type thing, that the home office agrees with my field underwriting findings. So we'll go through that. The whole process will take about 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how many questions you have. Any reason we can't proceed at this time?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, great. So I've given her an idea of why I'm here for, why I'm here, and what the process is going to look like and how long it's going to take. So now I'm going to go to the financial inventory. The financial inventory is located at fflams.com. You can download it there. If you're having trouble, need registration, or want us to email it, you can email info@fflams.com. All right, one of the important things is slow down. Take your time. They see that you're writing stuff in. Understand that this is for the file, and if you're comfortable and calm, they'll stay comfortable and calm. So I'm going to start with the date. Bridget, I'll email you all correspondence. Can I please have your email address?
Yeah, it's Bridget at fflinw.com.
Okay. Now, why is that important? It's important because if we need to contact them, we have their email, but also it will put it into your insurance strip account and automatically send her your monthly email newsletter and your holiday emails too. So keeping that client in touch, create more stickiness, more retention, more referrals, things of that nature. So, Bridget, and middle name is Ellen, and then Jackson, and you are 30 years old?
Yep.
Date of birth is 11/22/1988?
Yep.
Okay.
And you know a lot about me.
I do, yeah. All right, spouse's name, are you married?
I am, yes.
You are married, okay.
Yep.
And your spouse's name, we put here, date of birth, age. I have the address as 1234 First Street.
Yes, perfect.
Here in Everett, Washington. Okay, great. And that's 98102. All right, and you have children, obviously. How
I do.
many?
Yeah, 4 children.
4 children, okay. What are their ages?
7, 4, 2, and 4 months.
All right, great. Now, just round numbers. Monthly income for, let's start with you and then with your husband. How much? What is your monthly income, just gross?
$5,000.
Okay, so making $60,000 a year. And how about your husband?
$5,000 as well.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Nice and easy. Okay. You are a non-smoker, is that accurate?
Correct, yep.
All right. And same for your husband?
Correct.
Any medical conditions? Anything we need to be aware of? Something you're taking medication
No.
for or having surgeries on?
Not yet,
okay,
no.
Great. All right. Do you have any long-term care coverage?
We do not.
Okay, no problem. That's pretty common. That younger clients usually aren't looking into long-term care. They're looking at mortgages, paying off cars, getting kids through school, things of that nature. Okay, great. No medications you're currently taking. Now, the mortgage balance is $225,000. What's your mortgage payment?
$1,800.
Okay. And this is a 30-year note. Is that accurate?
Yep.
All right. Nice neighborhood you have here. A lot of
Yeah.
new houses popping up. What do you think the value of the home is?
It's probably about $320 now.
Okay, great. Good equity in the home. That's
Yeah.
nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, do you have any current life insurance, be it term or whole life, and not company life insurance? I'm talking about something you own,
Gotcha,
right? Not,
yeah.
Yeah. Your company life insurance would be canceled. It's not portable. It has some restrictions on it. So, stuff that you own. Do you have any life insurance, or does your husband have any life insurance?
We just have a family accidental coverage plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who the company is?
I believe it's Foresters.
Okay. And the death benefit.
120,000.
Okay. And I assume that your husband is the beneficiary?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, and he has the same policy on you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, do you have anything that acts like insurance, such as a 401k at work, a 403b, 457, an IRA, an annuity, a large lump sum money, an inheritance, anything like that?
No, I don't.
Okay, no problem. You know, and that's pretty common. You know, you're young, you work in America, the number of pensions now compared to 1980 is down to less than 2%
Yeah.
of what they used to
They
be.
don't offer them.
Yeah, it's very, very common, so understood. So no other amounts here. And same for your husband?
Yeah, he's self-employed, so he
Okay.
doesn't have anything there.
Again, very common now. People used to, you know, my father-in-law worked for Boeing for 41 years. That's what people did.
Yeah.
Nowadays, most people I sit down with, they've had 3 jobs in the last 6 years, or they have a combination of jobs that they work. Okay, all right, great. So let's go ahead and proceed. Now, at this point, I'm going to go into the mortgage protection. Let's say an Americo HMS 125 cash back. Makes a lot of sense. We're going to protect that $225,000 and move on with that. But before I leave, just like I had the understanding or guaranteeing safe growth and lifetime income for the annuity trifold, there is this trifold, which is the understanding IUL. So I'm going to segue to that. Here's my segue. So, Bridget, before I go, I know you said that you and your husband have no form of retirement currently set up, and you don't work in a capacity where they offer a 401k or any sort of defined contribution
Right.
plan. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we do retirement planning. That's one of the things that we're experts in. I want to show you something very quickly. I'm going to grab the trifold. This is something called Understanding IULs, Indexed Universal Life. Have you heard of that before?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Well, it's actually been around for quite a while, but let's start with this. I want to draw your eyes to this. 6 reasons why you should consider an IUL, or Indexed Universal Life. And one of these popped up when I was talking to you, going through that financial inventory, okay? So if you want to supplement your retirement with tax-free income, all right? If you're concerned about the taxation in the future, okay, what our tax burden is going to be. If you don't want negative returns, and when I say negative returns, I'm talking about negative returns in the market. So as you know, when our money's invested in the market, we could have years where the returns are
Yeah,
negative.
that's why I don't do it. I don't like risk.
Yeah, well, you and most people actually. Some people have maxed out their qualified contributions, so that's a great situation to be in. Obviously, not the situation you're in. You don't have any qualified contributions to make.
Right.
Okay, if you're a business and looking to insure your key employees, or being self-employed, it's just like your husband. He's self-employed. He's got to either go find a company that can create a 401k for himself. He can do some things on his taxes, or he can use an Index Universal Life to create some retirement. And you want to leave a legacy to your loved ones. So, in short, here's how an Index Universal Life policy works. So, an Index Universal Life policy, you're indirectly tied to the market performance. And what I mean by that is you put money into the policy every month or every year, and then based on how the index performs, your annuity, or your IUL will go up or stay the same. So if we look right here, this red line, that's the market performance, okay? So the first year the market went down, the second year the market went down, your Index Universal Life policy does not go down. So where these received a negative 16 and negative 18%,
Yeah.
you got 0%. So that's that risk you're talking about over here. It insulates you from that. But when the market comes up, your IUL goes up. Now it does have a cap, okay? It's usually about 13%, maybe 14%. So if the market goes up 20%, you're only going to capture 13. But if the market goes down 20%, you capture none of it. So most of our clients will say, hey, I'll trade, some cap,
Yeah,
because
for no
13% is a really high
Yeah,
amount,
yeah.
for 0 losses. I'll participate in the gains and not participate in the losses. And I think this is important to understand because It's a really great way to create a supplemental retirement. Now, it's an insurance product first. And when we're looking at insurance, we're always looking for the lowest price, correct?
Right.
Well, these things are really that with retirement savings on top of it. So what we do is we start an IUL. Let me just give you an idea of how this works. And we have to put an amount into life insurance. So we suppress that. We make it very, very, very tiny. And then what we do is we put the maximum amount of cash that the IRS will allow us to put in to maximize these returns. Now, what I've always said and what I've always thought when I first got introduced to these 10 years ago was if the IRS puts limits on how much you can put into it, there must be something good about it. And that's the tax-free advantage. So any money that you put into this, you're going to take out tax-free. And then if you die, whether you die early or die late, the remainder is going to be tax-free to beneficiaries. And the last thing that's nice and beneficial about these is when you answered you don't have any long-term care currently, these can really be used to offset long-term care costs because you can access the cash value, or you can even access the death benefit to pay for long-term care. So if your husband is there late in life, he's not doing well, he needs 2 years of long-term care, you can use this policy and not disrupt your income. So what I'd like to do is, I don't have time now, but let's come up with an agreement on, what if you were saving for retirement, what that would look like. And then I'll run some illustrations. This is very regulated, so we have a home office that produces these based on state laws, different products, things of that nature. And I'll bring it back to you in 2 days. So you said you make about $60,000 a year. Most Americans are trying to save between 10 and 20%. Why don't we start with the lower numbers, say 10% of your income per year. I'll run some illustrations and come back and see you in 2 days. Does that work?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Great. So really that easy. We have anyone that we meet with who's relatively healthy and relatively young who doesn't have any current retirement options. We're gonna present just like that. So that's the first half of it. We're gonna go to the Ask a Specialist, and then we're gonna come back and talk about how we present the product. Okay, everyone, Sean Ruggiero here. I'm going to take what I got from the in-home for the IUL, the Index Universal Life, and I'm going to submit it to Ask a Specialist in order to get recommendation and application illustrations, etc. So I go to fflams.com. I'm going to go ahead and log in here. I'm going to go to Ask a Specialist. Now, right here we have the annuity, but I'm going to go to IUL. Type in the client's name, date of birth, state, and the target premium. We're targeting $500 a month. Non-tobacco user. She's probably a premier with the idea that she's taking no medications and she's healthy and she has no disease, she's a non-smoker, etc. So she wants lifetime income. She also wants tax-free retirement. Okay, so we're just going to put in the comments right here. Bridget is looking to save $6,000 a year through age 65, then turn on tax-free income at 66. That's it. There's nothing to attach. This is not coming from any statement. If you feel that there's something that is helpful or useful for the team, you can attach it. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and hit submit, and we're going to wait for the team to get back to us and give us our recommendation as well as the application and illustrations that we can use to go back to the client's home and sell the Index Universal Life policy.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for your submission to Ask the Specialist. All right, so I do see that your client is 30 years old and wants to set aside 10% of their salary for retirement. I suggest we use the new Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, which is easy to understand. This IUL uses the S&P 500 indexing strategies. Also, it's a low cost of insurance, and underwriting is truly non-medical. I've ran this at a monthly premium of $500, paying to age 65, then taking over for $40,000 tax-free each year for the rest of their life. Let us know if you need anything else, and good luck with your appointment.
Okay, we're back. So I'm sitting with Bridget, who is 30 years old, and I'm going to talk to her about the product that was recommended to me. Again, it was the Mutual of Omaha IUL Express. So actually simplified issue underwriting, no medical exam needed, right? Boom, we could actually go and write it and have it approved in a day, which is very, very cool. So using that 10% number, Bridget, let me show you what I've got here. That's $500 a month. Okay, so for most people, it's a budgeting thing. We're going to set aside $500. That's $6,000 a year, which represents 10% of your income. I didn't add any increases, so as you get more money, as you move up the ladder and make more money, I just left it at $6,000. And then one of the things I want to draw your attention to is that at age 65, you're no longer paying into it.
Okay.
Because if something's truly for retirement, you don't want to be paying into it when you're retired.
Right.
So even though this is a life insurance product first, and it has some benefits of life insurance, such as tax-free status and a death benefit, we don't want it to be something that you have to pay on forever, or else it really diminishes a lot of its value as a supplemental retirement product. So if we go here, there are two categories. There's this guaranteed category, and there's this non-guaranteed category. Okay, let me explain that very, very quickly. The guaranteed interest rate is 0. So if you recall from the trifold, this is indirectly tied to the market. It will never go down. So if something never goes down, it's guaranteed to have 0. All right. Now, do you hear the term zero, the hero? Well, that is true, meaning that if the market drops 16%, how would you like your retirement to drop 16%?
Right.
Well, it will drop 0%. But in this illustration right here, having 0 income is really kind of silly, because if it gains no interest ever, that means that the stock market has gone down every month for every year for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think any of us are concerned about that. So by law, I have to show you a guarantee, but I don't want to waste your time or my time talking about the market never going up for 4 decades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go based on the averages. So the average is a conservative 6.13%.
Okay.
All right. If you look at various, reports, whether we're talking about total returns or just average prices, the stock market, the S&P 500, goes up about 7.5% per year on average. On average, this is a little less, 6.13. But like I said, we're showing you something that participates in the upside and never participates in the downside. And that's where the value is. So if we look here, you're going to see the accumulation value and the death benefit. So being nice and tidy here, after 20 years and you're putting in $6,000 a year, you would have put in $120,000. The cash value is $191,000, and the death benefit is almost $500,000. So we're not buying it for this reason, but at this point, what can you do with that? You have a new baby, 4 months old, you talked about. Let's say that baby doesn't receive a scholarship, really wants to go to an expensive college. 20 years later, you can access this $191,000 to help pay for college. Okay? And here's a cool thing about it, just a quick side note. IULs, the income taken from them, is not reported on the federal grant calculation. So even if you have $50,000 to give towards college, the feds see that as 0, and you can actually still receive grant money. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's say something tragic happens. Again, not probable, not likely, but things happen. Let's say if you were to die, okay? Now, if you're to die and you have a 401k and you put in $120,000, and maybe it has grown, but you're gonna get what you put into it, okay? $120,000, maybe a little bit more, 140. This has a death benefit tied to it. So it's $448,000 of death benefit.
Wow.
And it's also completely tax-free. Again, it's not what we're doing it, but you have the 4 kids. If something were to happen to you, you're planning for your retirement future, but if something happens too early, you're also helping to take care of their future. Now let's go to the next page. And on the next page, we see that continuing on with this 6.13%, the accumulation value continues to grow, and so does the death benefit. But notice at age 65, which is 3.5 decades from now, what happens to the premium?
Yeah.
It goes away.
Yep.
So again, not to reiterate too much, but we're not going to put you in a retirement product that you have to keep paying for in
Yeah,
retirement.
that'd be silly.
And notice over here, see in this column, what do we have that we didn't have before? Withdrawals.
Okay.
So you see this $42,000, $42,112, and then this cumulative amount over here.
Yeah.
So we have put in a total premium of $210,000.
Gotcha.
After just 5 years in retirement, you would have already taken out $228,000
And still have
tax
that
free,
left there.
and still have
Wow.
$760,000
Wow.
of cash and $653,000 of death benefit. So what I'm getting at here is this is where the retirement tool becomes a true retirement tool. And also I'd like to point this out. You're currently making $60,000. Earlier I asked you to look up your Social Security. I gave you that trifold. And
Yeah.
if you need to know what trifold I'm talking about, it's on the fflams.com. It's called Understanding Retirement. I told you to look up your Social Security.
Yeah.
And in today's dollars, your Social Security is about $35,000 a year when you retire,
Right.
correct?
Yep.
So $35,000 plus $42,000, you're making over $75,000 in retirement.
Yeah.
And here's the cool thing, none of it will be taxed. None of it, because Social Security is taxed on what's called provisional tax footprint. And so your tax, it only counts half the Social Security. So out of the 35, you cut that in half, that's under the provisional tax amount that you would need to pay me. And this is non-reportable income. The IRS doesn't even know you get this income. So how cool is that? Just like when you didn't have to report it for that federal grant application for college for
Yeah.
your kids, you also don't have to report it for Social Security earnings.
Gotcha.
So here you are making over $75,000 a year in retirement, completely tax-free. That's the equivalent of probably making about $100,000 in
Yeah.
retirement. You're actually looking at making more in
Retire
retirement.
now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, good idea. So let's continue on down here. You said you're healthy. You said your parents are still alive. I lived a long, long time. The idea of you living to age 90 is very likely.
Yeah.
So by age 90, you've still taken out $42,000 plus a year. Look at this grand total. And remember, you only put in $210,000. You would have now taken out $1.753 million tax-free.
Yeah.
What is the tax equivalent of that? You would have had to make close to
It's huge.
$2.5 million
Yep.
just to take that money out. And you haven't made any tax, paid any tax on your Social Security because of this product. Whereas if you had an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, when you take that money out, you're taxed. You're also taxed on your Social Security.
Yep.
So you have a zero tax footprint, and you're making over $100,000. And if you live to age 90, which is very likely, you would have made $1.753 million tax-free. And then let's say, just for even numbers, you die at 90. Okay? You die at age 90. You pass on $408,000 tax-free to your beneficiaries, to those 4 children. Pretty cool, isn't
Yeah.
it? So this is the product that I'm recommending, and as you can see, it has a lot of great benefits. The next thing we would need to do is get an application, send that in to request for approval, and see if the home office agrees with my findings. If they do, we can draw this out in the next 2 weeks or so, and you're on your way to retirement.
And this was no exam or anything, right? On this
No
one?
physical exam,
Yeah.
no blood, no urine, no anything. They're just going to look at your MIB, your Medical Information Bureau. They're going to look at your prescription history.
Okay.
And if all that matches up, you'll be good to go. So we can probably get that approved in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, fantastic. So there you have it. We presented a Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, helping someone gain $1.753 million and still pass on $400,000 plus, all tax-free, keeping all of their taxes out of Social Security, giving them a tax footprint of 0, and helping them make more money in retirement than they were making while they were working and still saving away from
I really am
retirement.
going to go sign up now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I'm on the leaderboard. Great. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate it.